Hello, Aquarius. I hope that everybody's doing well. I'm so happy to be here with you. This is going to be a timeless reading, which means that whenever you open this, you may find it to be relevant. Okay, first card that we have out is Page of Cups. And Temperance. Okay. There may be something starting up that you're getting a feel for, but it's not... Temperance is feeling like you don't need to do anything about this. So this can be like, oh, I just noticed that, or I'm getting a feeling about this, or I feel like I'm starting to get a message about this, because Page of Cups can also be like an intuitive message that you get. It can be a feeling that you're getting, but having Temperance here, it means not to rush the process. It can mean too that you don't have the full message yet, but it's something that you're connecting with. So you can be like, I feel like that downloaded halfway and I'm still waiting for the rest to come in. And having Temperance here too is just a reminder of like there's more still, or like you don't have everything still, or be patient still because things are sort of still forming. This can also be about feelings too, where you're like, I think that I feel one way. And then with Temperance, it can be like, that may not necessarily be how you're going to remain feeling, or there's something that's still going to be developing, especially too because I'm seeing Hanged Man on the bottom of the deck, which can be that, like, you're seeing everything there is to see in this moment, and also in the next moment, there's going to be additional stuff to see that is also meant to be, like, integrated into this for you. So it just means, don't jumpstart this yet. Yes. It means like don't act on it. Don't act on it yet too. Just wait. When I say wait, this isn't like, it doesn't feel like an open-ended wait. This feels like, with Page of Cups, there's something here emotionally that's being acknowledged, and it feels even like a signal that you're picking up on. To have Temperance, it means like wait for the whole thing to come through so you fully understand this, rather than being like, you know what this is reminding me of? Like, let's say that you're texting with somebody, and instead of like waiting to have the whole idea, you're texting them in pieces, and it's like you may go through like a whole process and also sort of like change parts of the message as you're sending all of this. It feels like a train of thought, but emotionally, rather than this being a mental thing. And so Temperance feels like wait until you're feeling and understanding the whole thing, and also don't jump the gun, because what I'm seeing is something about communicating with another person about how you feel, but to have Temperance, it can be like, wait, don't do that yet, because it seems to like you may be feeling heightened, or you may be feeling upset about something, or it could be the other person too. Let's read this though like it's you. So you can be feeling something and you may want to say something right now, but having Temperance, it's like, don't do that yet. Especially too because Temperance can be like, you need to calm down first, or you need to ground your energy first, and you don't want to say something. And then it's not just a mental thing, this is like an emotional thing. So this would be how you're feeling about something. But to have Nine of Swords here, this is connected with like fear and worry and anxiety and that sort of thing. And so that's like what you would be spreading emotionally to this person. And you may want to wait and not do this yet, because that's not from like the most authentic, like pure space. It may not be it's not going to be the same. You're not going to feel this way when you're feeling centered, is the point. Because I'm seeing this be mixed in with something that you're worried about, and that if you're grounded, you could look at this and be like, I'm so glad that I didn't say that then. It's like that sort of thing. So this isn't something where your guides are like you need to say something right now about this. You need to address it right now. You need to initiate the conversation, which sometimes the advice is that. That's not the advice right now. The advice is to hold your horses a little bit before you say something, because you are picking up on something important here, but it's not like it's not the final thing yet, basically. So you want to wait. Meaning it seems like this would be acting prematurely. Ah. Yeah. There's something about being defensive here. Something could have worried you or it could have upset you, and so you were feeling guarded about something. This can also be feeling impacted by the way that like another person is coming across as well. Like it can be feeling reactive towards the way that somebody's coming across, which is just like a reflection of your own emotions. Meaning some of you were in a situation and the other person got upset about something, and that could have brought stuff up for you. But what I'm seeing actually is that you don't need to do anything right now. You don't need to do anything immediately. What I'm seeing though is that things actually are going to like work out quite well within this situation, even though it may seem very like unclear right now what's going on. Yeah, something came up. You may be feeling defensive about that. You're meant to be learning why. What came up that made you feel like this? See how it looks like this person sort of backed into a corner? You have to pay attention to that and be like, this is you observing this part of yourself. Why do you feel like you're being backed into a corner right now? You can also feel like other people are against you too. It can be like another person or other people, you being questioned. This can also be like about your opinions and stuff too. That could have been part of the reason why you were feeling this way as well. And although there is this acknowledgement of like, this is coming up for me, it feels like you're not at the point where you've like finished interpreting the message of what this means for you. And that's why you need to pay attention to this and be like, why did that put me in a space where I felt like I had to put a wall up, or I felt like I got defensive, like I needed to, like nobody was validating me in that moment. It can be whatever those things are that's brought up for you, where you feel like you need to like sort of posture at other people, whether this be something like physically that's happening or this be something that's emotionally, it feels like especially emotionally that's happening. Page of Swords is you being open enough to be like, okay, I'm observing that this is happening with me. Now, why is that happening? And Page of Swords is you being in a space where you are being like non-judgmental and just observant and being like, I just want to know why I'm doing that, or like why that's triggering that for me, or like why this is coming up for me. So this Page of Swords is about you basically like doing research and figuring out. And this can also be too like having conversations about this as well, like, you know, like going online and being like, does anybody else feel this way? Whatever it is that you're doing, you know, to try to like normalize and understand what it is that's going on for you, just so you can bring light to it. That's why Page of Swords is here. Because Page of Swords is that part of you that's like, I'm trying to find out like why that is. And it may not be something that you fully understand yet, but it's something that you're reacting to. So it's like you got in this position all of a sudden, and this is you being like, now why did I do that? And that's what I'm seeing you're figuring out. And then once you figure that out, then you're going to be able to communicate. But at first, it's like just this acknowledgement of like, I'm feeling this thing that's happening too. And I also think as well that you could have felt like for a way that you were feeling like it wasn't being understood or something like that. Because what this looks like to me is that, like, you have a feeling about something and you may, like, unknowingly be, like, insecure about it for some reason or something like that. And there's, like, nothing wrong with the Page of Cups, right? It's just, like, something that you're going through. It's just, like, something that you're experiencing. And so it's like you look at a cloud and you feel happy. And that's what's going on with the Page of Cups. And then all of a sudden, like, based off of maybe how another person is looking at you, you could be like, maybe there's something wrong with that, or maybe that's not okay. It's something like that just feels like you're having a normal emotional experience here. You're having, like, normal feelings here. But it feels like for some reason, like, something kicked off this feeling of, like, maybe that's not okay, or, like, maybe I need to defend myself for feeling this way, when it's like, no, you're just feeling this way. There's, like, really nothing to judge about it. But you may be, like, unknowingly feeling like you need to, like, stick up for yourself or, like, fight against something, when it's like you don't even have to explain this, is what it feels like. Let's get further and see. It can be too, like, a feeling that you have where it's like, I have feelings for this thing, or, like, I feel connected with this thing. Because Page of Cups is going to be, like, anything that's eliciting some sort of emotional response from you, where you're like, oh, I'm recognizing that I'm feeling this way. But you could also be feeling that if this is, so you're recognizing that you're having a feeling, right? It could be with Seven of Wands. It could be, like, controversial in some way, or something that you feel like you need to be protective of yourself for feeling that way. Like, it can be you deciding that, like, you really love pine trees, and the people around you aren't going to understand that. And so now you're in a space where you're like, I really ride for pine trees here, and you feel like that's going to be problematic in some way. And so figuring out, like, why that is, like, why is this coming up for you? And also, like, why do you need other people to understand that? Why do you need it to be agreed with? And there's also nothing, like, if you get to a point where you're like, no, it is important for me that, like, other people agree with that, or that other people validate that for me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just about getting to the bottom of, like, why is that? Because it does feel like ultimately it's coming from a place of insecurity, of you being like, I need to stand up for this thing, but also, like, why is this necessary too? And having, sometimes that is what the situation calls for. However, having Temperance here feels like there's something else going on, that you may be looking for some type of approval unknowingly, and that's why you're feeling this way. And this can be a general feeling too, because, like, I'm not seeing who's necessarily at the other end of this. So you could feel like this is coming from, like, there isn't just a single maybe individual that's connected with this, but that it's more, that it's bigger than that. Like, something collectively even. So yeah, your guides are just saying that, like, the current assignment is basically for you to figure out, like, what this is bringing up for you and why you feel like you need to be in this stance. Because it even feels like before you address something, needing to do this. So there may be something that, like, something that you're feeling, or something that matters to you on an emotional level that you want to communicate, but having Nine of Swords can be like, but I'm so worried about this. Like, I keep thinking about it. I feel a lot of anxiety about this. So it's like bringing up stuff for you. And it's not just the feelings within themselves that are the issue, because it's just a Page of Cups. It's just what you're feeling, but it's kind of like these meanings that are attached to it, and also, like, the implications that are connected with, like, the specific emotional thing that you're going through right now. So yeah, there may be something that you want to express, but you're feeling like this about it. And so that means too that why your guides are saying to wait is that if you jump the gun and you just start communicating, people are going to pick up on, whether they realize it or not, your anxiety surrounding this situation, and so they're not going to like clearly understand the message of what you're communicating. So this is also about like emotional awareness and like energetic awareness with where you are prior to addressing this, because it does feel like something's going on with you and that it is something that you want to share. And whoever or whomever is going to be on the receiving end of this, there can be a lot of worry that you're feeling right now about expressing this. And it's because of the way that you're feeling about these particular feelings that you're having, which like isn't something that you can help, but you can also feel like you're going to be judged for it or something like that. That's why 7 of Wands is here. It's like, I'm saying this, and also I feel like, you know what this is reminding me of? It's reminding me of like when somebody's being like interrogated, or they're being like an interview, and like all these people have all these different questions and stuff, and you feeling like you're sort of the center of attention and needing to be like really on guard and like really protective of as well of your feelings, like of this Page of Cups here, which is just like a situation going on for you. And then also too, like some of you, if this Page of Swords, like ultimately this is about you figuring out why you're feeling that way. Also too, you could feel like the people around you, Page of Swords, can be people that want to know things and are very curious about what's going on with you as well. So you could feel like feeling very protective over something. Page of Cups is something that's like very innocent and very sweet and very pure. And then feeling like you need to protect that thing. And then having you being here, people are like, why are you being like that? You know, like you automatically, because it wasn't this and then this, having this come out first, it can be like, because you're experiencing anxiety, then you're like, well, I need to protect myself. And then people are like, why is that your automatic like reaction to this? Like, why are you entering into the space in this way? And it almost feels like overcompensating, because you go like this, where you feel very vulnerable. And it can be feeling like helpless or feeling scared or feeling like whatever it is that you're feeling when you're in that space that feels very uncomfortable, to then it feels like overcompensating in this way of being like, nobody's going to say anything, or like, I'll put them in their place, or whatever it is, you know, how we come out in that type of energy where it's like, I'm ready to take this on if I need to. So again, coming back to this space of, this is all something that's going to be worked out, and it's all something that's going to be addressed. It just seems like there may be something, yes, that you want to get off your chest, but it's not time to do that yet, because you have like emotional, energetic work that's still being done prior to this happening. But it seems like once you find that out, I'm seeing things are going to move. We have Temperance, right? Which is like, okay, let's not do anything yet on the outside. Let's do all this like inner working stuff. Once you figure out this thing about like what's coming up for you and why you're feeling defensive and what you feel like you're protecting this from and all of that, and like why you're posturing over here energetically, once you figure that out with the Page of Swords, then I'm seeing 8 of Wands, which is like, okay, then we can move forward with things. So that's your green light. Having Temperance come out is your yellow light. Having 8 of Wands come out is your green light of, okay, we checked in, we did what we needed to do, now you can move forward with this. Some of you, this has to do with a relationship. Hope I don't get censored for flashing that. Interesting. Okay. it feels like things get balanced then again after that. Some of you could be worried about some of you can be insecure about reciprocity, actually, which is a very interesting thing to see. Because I feel like you're kind of being given the answer here about what's been bothering you. But that could have been what the issue was before and what you felt like you had to defend. Some of you, like, the answer really is reciprocity. What this means is that what had been worrying you was that if you shared something, if you communicated something, you didn't want to look like you were participating within a situation that wasn't aligned with your values, actually. That's what this comes down to. So you didn't want to say something and then have it not be like a proper reflection of your values. And because you have the Page of Cups here, it may not be, it's something small still, so you may not know whether it fully would be aligned with your values yet or not, because it seems kind of early on for you to be figuring this out. So that could have been the thing that you were feeling worried about that's connected with this. I'm seeing so many different stages and like cycles that this can be connected with, because I feel like there are like 10 examples that I could use right now as far as like what's happening energetically, but I don't want to get so specific that then people feel like this isn't resonating. Feelings are acknowledged, okay? You have Page of Cups here, so it's like, okay, I'm sensing something, I'm feeling something. Temperance is like, let me spend time with it to understand what it is that I'm feeling prior to communicating about it. There's something here about like sharing how one is feeling, or a message that is close to the heart, or a message between people that's connected with really what's going on emotionally for someone. And then there's also like worry that's associated with this. One is feeling protective and defensive about how it is that they're feeling, taking the time with Page of Swords to figure out, why am I feeling that way and what is this bringing up for me, and then moving forward into a space of reciprocity because we've addressed and figured out what's going on. I'm feeling this way because I wasn't sure whether or not this aligned with my values, and now that I'm figuring that out and maybe having like the appropriate conversations, be it with myself or with another person or whatever, then we're bringing things back into equilibrium because it's being addressed now. So this can be like, is this a mutual thing? Is there reciprocity here? Am I the only one that's feeling this way? But because it's being broken down and spoken about and addressed, it means that we end in a place where there is reciprocity. So it feels like ultimately you get into a place where you see that what you're seeing reflected is that with whatever emotionally is going on, there is reciprocity, it is aligned with your values, and then it seems like we can move forward then with this situation. But before this, you may not have known, and that could have been what was having you feel the way that you were. Because you could have been in a spot where you were like, yes, I'm feeling this, but am I the only one that's feeling this? And is there not like a receptive other end to this? It can be like that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like before you could have been like, yes, I'm acknowledging that I am feeling this way. But you could have been feeling, almost feeling like that wasn't okay, or that it was something that it's like when you say something and you feel like it may not have been appropriate for the situation, and then you feel like there's going to be backlash. It's like that sort of thing, like that feeling. But what I'm seeing is that it seems like that was just your automatic like reaction to this, but it's not necessarily reflective of the situation. And when we get to the end of this, what I'm seeing is that you do end up seeing like feelings. it being reciprocal. Like things end up being fine at the end, but it was something that you just needed to spend time figuring this out. And it can also be about like asking the right questions too. But having temperance here, it means that you may not get the answers automatically. It's like a process of figuring it out. And then it seems like because this is the way that you're feeling, that then once you figure out why you were feeling that way, then it's communicated that you were feeling like this because you didn't know if something was like aligned or if something was mutual or if something was reciprocal, and that's what you were worried about. But because you figured out like what was actually going on behind it, it means that you can get to the actual point with whomever this is that you're talking to, where you feel like it gets straight to the heart of the matter, rather than having this sort of like general feeling that you don't completely understand. This is about you getting to the bottom of it and breaking it down to then be able to bring it up and then be able to clarify things. Because you can like walk into a situation and be like, I'm just feeling really stressed out, or I'm feeling worried, or I'm losing sleep, or I can't stop thinking about this. And then you get posed with the question of why, and you can't even explain yourself because you don't fully understand. And that's why this is going to be much more conducive to clearing things up and being able to have like an elucidating conversation with somebody so everybody can understand what's going on. But it always starts with you understanding yourself. Because if you're not understanding, how are you going to be able to communicate that with somebody else and then problem solve with them, you know? What I'm seeing though is that by you addressing things this way, it like brings everything back into equilibrium. So problem and solution, all right? I'm seeing just temperance here, which is connected with the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.